Hello my love and welcome back to my channel. It feels so good to be here with you because I haven't made a YouTube specific video in a while as I've been focusing more on my podcast. I hope you've been enjoying those episodes as I definitely have been. So today I thought I would just hop on and share a little bit about imposter syndrome because in my membership program, the Bad Bitch Society, I just held a masterclass called Fierce Confidence and Beating Imposter Syndrome. So I felt inspired to come on here and share 5 of the tips that I gave in that masterclass around imposter syndrome. So for anyone who is unaware what imposter syndrome is, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's the syndrome or feeling that you are an imposter, that you're a fraud, that people are going to find you out, and that your skills and your talents and your gifts and your life experience isn't worthy, that you don't deserve to be at the table and someone is going to figure you out. A couple notes on this before I get into the top 5 tips. Firstly, when I say beating imposter syndrome, I just want to put a little side note on that we are not actually beating imposter syndrome because it might always come up in our lives. Likely it will if you're constantly pushing yourself out of your boundaries, like I am, for example. I put myself in front of audiences. That makes me super uncomfortable. I think it probably always will in my life. And during those times, even making YouTube videos at times, like it comes pretty naturally for me now. Teaching workshops online, all of the things that I do are constantly pushing me out of what I'm comfortable with because I'm just like naturally a little hermit and I would hide from the world if I could, but I know that's not my mission or my purpose here. So it might always come up. So I'm not saying beat it like it's a bad thing. That was just the title of the workshop. But we're actually just learning how to manage it and even maybe fall in love with it. I'll explain a little bit more on that in a moment. And this just came to mind as I started filming this that I want to mention is that I really feel the first part of managing your imposter syndrome is getting to the root of it and understanding why you feel that way. Because if you sit with yourself long enough, go back to your inner child, it's most definitely from childhood, there's a root cause of it. And once you understand this, it's not that it just goes away, but you can understand where it's from and then you don't take it as seriously. So number 1 is deshaming imposter syndrome. Realize that it is human. It's totally normal to have these feelings. As I taught this workshop and literally whenever I share on this topic, everyone I speak to has had these feelings. And if you look it up, I did a big list on our workshop of the celebrities and famous people and successful people, even the President of the United States, massive CEOs, billionaires, singers, famous writers, actors, people who are the best in their industry and who have won awards and who know, okay, I'm actually the best or one of the best in my entire industry, still feel like someone's gonna find them out or like they don't belong there or that they somehow just got lucky and it was a fluke and they're not totally deserving. We have this deep feeling of unworthiness collectively because of the society that we live in. And I'm not gonna dive too much into that topic because if you know me, I can just go off about that for a really long time because I'm all about self-love and our society's fucked and that's where our feelings of being not enough come from. But every single person, unless you have a social disorder of some sort, which is okay, I'm not shaming that, you will feel fear, you'll feel not enoughness, and have issues with your worth. It's part of the human experience. So knowing this, release shame and expect it. So when it comes up, it's not like, oh no, it's this dirty thing that I have to get rid of, or it's this embarrassing, shameful part of me that no one else has. Like everyone, literally, everyone else has it. If you're pushing your boundaries, you're going to have it. And if you're pushing your boundaries, then that's epic. Continue to do that. That is the first step. Accepting it as a part of this life, and it's not a bad thing. Releasing the shame around these feelings. Number 2 is learning to release the need for everyone to like you. And this is a big one. I'm at the point in my life where I'm almost there. Sometimes if someone doesn't like me like that, I've known personally, I do take it, like, I really do take it to heart because I'm such a lover. And I'm like, I have such good intentions. Why can't you see it? And some people are literally just where they're at in their lives and whatever's happening inside of them are determined to see the worst in others because that's how they're feeling inside. So even if this person looks happy on the outside, whatever it may be, we are never going to fully 100% understand someone else's reality. Even if you've dated someone for 10 years and they break up with you and they share the reasons, there could be something else, something from their childhood. There could be trauma. You don't know every single part of this person's story. So even in that circumstance where it feels very personal, it's still not all about you. It's about that person. This was a hard one for me because I put so much effort into my personal relationships and I'm like, I'm being the best girlfriend ever. Like, I can't be any better than this. And that's the people pleasing. Putting so much effort in out of fear of abandonment and rejection, which is something that many of us have, and I do, including myself. I've come a long way. I'm very aware of it when it comes up. And again, that's finding the root cause of our behaviors. So knowing whatever form rejection comes, it's not about you. It's about that person, and you'll never understand their reality. So don't drive yourself crazy trying to please everyone, trying to figure out why you were rejected from that job, from that relationship, from that friendship, whatever it may be. Just fucking release the need for everyone to like you. Your life will get so much better in every way. And having imposter syndrome a lot of the time comes from fear of people figuring you out, fear of people judging you, fear of people deciding you're not enough. I had a lover one time sit me down and literally tell me, "You are not enough, Krystal." And I was in love with this person. I got so much strength from that experience because that was my biggest fear. And it's many of our biggest fears, to have someone we love feel like we're not enough. And when he said it, it was like, oh my God, this is the thing that I've been scared of, like literally my whole life from childhood. Like, I'm not enough, I'm not lovable. And having someone actually say it and like have your fear living out in front of you, an hour after, I'm like, I'm still alive and I'm actually feeling okay. Like, I was on the beach in California, I went and cried, and I'm like, it's a really beautiful day today and I'm alive and I feel totally fine. And I just lived through my biggest fear and I'm here. I'm okay. And then I lost the fear for it. I don't care. If someone else says that to me now, I'd be like, okay, that's your reality. There's a lot of people out there that think I'm much more than enough. You're just one person. So that's just an example. We can't take anything personally. And later I found out all the stuff that person was going through. I'm like, wow, okay, that makes sense why he was so harsh to me, because he's going through a really dark time in his life where he doesn't feel enough, and we project onto others what we're feeling inside of ourselves. So with all that being said, fucking release that need and just follow your own path, show up and be playful with it. Like, for me, imposter syndrome comes up sometimes before I go on stage because that's just the scariest thing I could do in this life. And I constantly make myself do it and I hate myself at the time, but I just continue through it. And I just remind myself this life is a play. So just play with it. Just have fun. Don't take yourself so seriously. Don't take anyone else so seriously. Don't take this life so seriously. Just have fun with it. Number 3 is see your imposter syndrome as a superpower. And what I mean by this is see it as an incredible thing. See it as something powerful. Do you know why? Because imposter syndrome means you are passionate about something. It means you feel fucking alive. It means you're not having a dull, boring life. It means you're pushing your boundaries. You're putting yourself in situations that are making you feel uncomfortable and afraid. And that takes courage, and that's amazing, and that's the life you want. We don't want a life that doesn't excite us or scare us a little. I shared this in my branding of the Bad Bitch Society. I got a little bit of negative feedback from that because people aren't super excited about the term, and it felt really scary for me to use that, but it felt so alive and authentic to me that I had to just work through that. I'm like, this is right for me. And not everyone needs to understand that. And it feels uncomfortable, and I'm going to lean right into that discomfort and love myself, that I'm someone who shows up and does the things that scare the shit out of me. That's attractive. It also means that you have humility, that you're afraid, that you're not just this cocky person going through life like, oh yeah, I deserve to be here, everyone look at me. I deserve to be at this table, everyone should listen to what I have to hear. I deserve everything. Maybe that person was told that through their whole lives by their parents, and it didn't bring out the best in them. It is an attractive quality to have humility. Very attractive. So see it as a beautiful thing because it is. It means you care deeply about something. And again, that you are human. And with all its ups and downs, it's a pretty incredible and miraculous thing to be human. Okay, number 4, this is 8. Number 4 is turn your fear into excitement. I love this one because it has helped me so much. And in my workshop, I shared there's this moment in our lives that I have termed the just fucking go for it moment. I had on a sticky note on my computer for all the meetings and the interviews and the workshops teaching. When I first started teaching online like 7 years ago now, I was really afraid. My imposter syndrome was literally crippling because before that I was just such an introverted, shy woman. And then I pushed past that and I let myself be seen because I made my mission more important than me. I made my message more important than my ego and my limiting beliefs. That's another one. Get so clear on your why and your mission. So this moment, the just fucking go for it moment, I had that written on this sticky note for the first year of my online career. And I would read it every time I wanted to panic and I'd feel this anxiety, and then my mind would start going, okay, I could cancel it. I could say I got sick. I could say the internet's not working. I could come up with all these excuses. That's what starts to play. And that's the moment that you lean into. And then I would look at the sticky note and go, just fucking go for it. I brought myself here. I took all these steps to get here. I'm not fucking backing out now. And there was times in my life that I did back out. In the workshop, I shared an experience. My first time on stage, I fucking ran off stage and hid in the washroom. Like, I'm not proud to say that, but I'm human, and it was terrifying to me. And I literally felt like my body was going into a panic and I couldn't do it. And they called for me and I could hear my name. I was literally shaking and sweating and I just couldn't do it. When I say it was crippling for me, it truly was, but I'm a living example that you can work through anything, because trust me, what I'm even doing right now did not come naturally for me. If you know my story, none of this came naturally. And now look at me. I'm like talking to a friend. I feel so comfortable practicing, preparation. Now I don't even plan. Like, I haven't even planned what I'm sharing. It just comes naturally to me. So let me be an example, because if you saw me 10 years ago and saw me now, you just wouldn't even, you'd be blown away. So that moment, I did extreme sports for a while, and there's like a moment before you jump from an airplane or you do a zip line, or there's that moment that's like, why the fuck am I here? Why did I do this? I want to back out. And that's the moment you lean into. And I think of when my sister was about to walk down the aisle on her wedding day, we looked at each other and we were both like never the women that would like dream of our wedding day. And it was just a moment like, this is real. The moment, just fucking go for it. Like, and I'm like, go for it. And she's like, okay. And it's just those moments in your life that's like, oh my God, this is it. But isn't that a beautiful moment? Like, this is the moment of being fucking alive, of pushing yourself, of something scary. And scary is a good thing in this way. You're evolving. You're like a little bud that's pushing through the flower. Like, here I am. It's so scary. Do I want to push through? Yes, I do. Just fucking go for it. That's your new affirmation when you get scared, because it worked for me for a while and it still does. Number 5, the final one, is regulate your nervous system, which really helps you in all areas of life. Regulating your nervous system. Learn breath work. Learn when you go into a panic. Like, when I ran off of stage, I promised myself, no matter what happens in this life, I am never going to be the girl that runs off stage and ignores her name in the announcement ever again. So I did whatever it took to never be that person again. And I knew when the moment came, my body would go through that again. And I learned ways of dealing with that. I learned how to play music. I learned how to do some push-ups before I go on stage. I learned how to do breathing exercises. I have a visualization. Even when I fly, I get a little nervous flying sometimes because I've been on some really crazy flights. And I have visualizations. I have specific playlists that I play, and I learned how to manage that and how to get my nervous system regulated. And what that means is that you aren't in fight or flight. When your body goes into that fight or flight response, you know how to get it out of it. Even chanting Om for me helps so much. Anytime in my life where I'm feeling anxiety, I'll meditate and just keep chanting Om. There's just so many tools to relax your nervous system and to be present and come back to your center. So I just encourage you to explore and find your favorite ones. Have music, have practices, your go-to practices, breathing techniques, do your yoga, do your meditation, do your workouts, and get your body healthy, your physical body, get your mind healthy, do all the things, and when that moment comes, you'll feel more prepared and more centered. Okay, my loves, I really hope this was helpful. If you're experiencing it to the point where it's crippling, just remember I've been there, and I'm showing you now that it's absolutely possible to work through. It just takes consistent effort. It's not something that just happens. It's something that you really have to take action around. And hopefully this video has helped to give you some clarity on some new action steps you can take to really manage your new superpower, but it's always been a superpower, imposter syndrome. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. There's lots more videos coming. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video. And also, if you want to give me any suggestions for future videos, put it in the comments.